my friends, hello and welcome to another live little snippet of information, nugget of wisdom, whatever you want to call them. I'm back for another week. I really am thoroughly enjoying these, and I'm actually going to start with the first in a three-part series, this sounds very formal, of tips for getting into certain elements. Now, you may or may not know, in the DPL Atelier, we have a signature framework called the Create, Cut and Construct framework, where I take you across the entire fashion process from designing your original ideas and your dream wardrobe, to pattern drafting, to getting behind the machine, sewing them and bringing them to life. Now, I'm going to go through tips for getting into all three elements. And today is all about tips for getting into fashion design. Now, you might know my little other business I got going on, my bread and butter, which is Sandra Jane Design, where I help people launch fashion brands for a living. Love it. I work with so many different people. I literally just have the best time, keeps me on my toes. But today is not about getting into fashion design in the sense of joining the industry. Today is about tips for designing your own clothes, for designing your dream wardrobe, things that flatter you, things that suit your personal style. If you do want to know how to design and tips for getting into the industry, your girl is happy to serve that, but just let me know in the comments, or just let me know that you want it as a future little bit of content, and I will happily do that for you as well. Or go on over to sandrajanedesign.com, because there is a wealth of information over there on how to join the industry. But today, I just want to go through, because it can be overwhelming, and when we have the 3-day design challenge, where I watch time and time again, 4 times a year, people unleash their inner fashion designer, and people build the confidence in that, yes, you are creative. Everybody is creative, everyone has it within them, and everybody genuinely has a fashion designer waiting to be unleashed. Look at how excited I'm getting. I genuinely believe it, it's a proper passion of mine. But what stops people, and the roadblock that is in the way, is a lack of confidence. People don't think that they are capable of designing their own clothes. And I'm gonna throw myself under the bridge here. Under the bridge, is that the saying? Gonna throw myself under the bus? This is all going a bit morbid. Basically, what I'm gonna say is you don't need to rely on sewing pattern companies or pattern companies like my own in order to build your dream wardrobe. So you might be sitting at home waiting and relying on pattern companies to bring out a design that really speaks to your aesthetic, and they might miss the mark. Yes, okay, I said it. My designs might miss the mark, other people's designs might miss the mark, and so what or who better to design for you than you? Stop waiting for us to release amazing patterns that might just miss the mark in terms of your personal aesthetic. Why not get started designing your own clothes? But I understand the overwhelm can hit you when you actually don't know where to start. So, in order to get involved and to unleash the creative beast within, and to unleash your inner fashion designer, first and foremost, of course, there is the 3-day design challenge. Now, if you're not aware what this is, 4 times a year, me and my creative community, that could include you, come together over a 3-day experience where I teach you industry design, industry standard design techniques. You have workshops that are available. I teach you how to research concepts and inspirations. My brain's flatlining a bit today, guys. I don't know if you can tell. I've not had a coffee yet. And we answer a creative brief together. I design real time with you, and I can teach you how to turn the mundane into the magical, and you can start to draw upon really arguably obscure inspiration, and you can actually start to implement it and incorporate it into garment design. So if you haven't joined already, why not sign up to the 3-day design challenge? Number one, that is literally a fast track way into getting started with designing your own clothes. It's really high energy. I give away prizes. I have some amazing prize sponsors that we've worked with in the past and have lined up for the future. And it's just a really wonderful way to come together as a creative community and get started on your dream wardrobe. But beyond that, and I really do encourage you to try it, beyond that, of course, you can have a look at books. Books are always a great resource to start getting into design. So I've got a couple here. I've got loads though, but you can have a little look at fashion illustration, at different kind of communication techniques, because in terms of fashion design, what it's about is creating original ideas. It's coming up with something new, but it's also visually communicating that so that we can then take it forward into development and actually create the garment itself. So this here, Fashion Designer's Sketchbook by Huel Davis, is one of my favorites, and it's just got all of the kind of processes of famous designers in there that you can have a look at. I mean, when I say visual communication and sketching, I don't mean hyper-realistic observational studies. We'll get onto observational studies in a moment. I don't mean that at all. I mean just mark making on a page and trying to visually communicate your ideas. But observational study, tip number 3, is actually very, very important if you're wanting to get into designing your own clothes. And I don't just mean sketching clothes themselves. I mean sketching everything, learning how to interpret the world around you and how to apply that onto a piece of paper and how to visually communicate that. Observational study is a really, really strong skill and exercise that you can do. There are multiple drawing exercises you can do to strengthen your skill here. As with anything, as with any new hobby or any new skill, it is just about practice, but make sure you do it in a way that keeps you interested, that is always enjoyable. I think when we come to fashion design and the more artistic side of things, I know I'm guilty about having a sense of perfectionism. And so again, in the DPL Atelier, we break these barriers down, we make it easy, we make it enjoyable. I offer so many variations and drawing exercises so that you can pick and choose what you personally like. Observational study does not always have to be a pencil and a piece of paper. It can be collaging, it can be oil pastels. So explore what mediums really speak to you, watercolours, paints. It could literally be sticking fabric and playing around with the textile itself, draping on the stand. There are so many ways to interpret what you see and try to apply that to original garment ideas. So observational study is a huge one. What I would do is I would get a small sketchbook and try to carry that around with you and just sketch what you see on your daily journeys or in your day-to-day living. It can be a really, really strong way of just interpreting the world around you, finding sources of inspiration and applying that to your clothing. Again, another tip is going to be just try on clothes. Go to a charity shop, go to any shop, go to a bloody fancy high-end fashion shop and try on types of clothes that you wouldn't normally be drawn to. Because designing clothes for ourselves is about falling in love and respecting and just really giving our figures and our bodies the attention it deserves. We want to feel good in what we're wearing, and a lot of us can always navigate or be drawn towards our comfort zones. I might do a video on this one, but for anybody who has been following my journey, I'm so late to the party, only just discovered seasonal colour analysis. And as a fair-skinned blonde girl who literally loves wearing black, it has been nothing short of a revelation. And I wouldn't have pushed myself to go there had I not been open-minded to research these things, had I not tried on things that I'm not necessarily navigating towards, to try and push my comfort zone and to try and actually expand and build my dream wardrobe. So that's like the whole point of it. So maybe you want to go to a charity store or just rummage through your wardrobe for old garments you might not wear anymore. And try on different cuts, whether that's an empire line, whether that's princess seams, whether that's a fit and flare, whether that's a wide leg trouser, a straight cut pant, whatever that is, just try to have a little play around. And another thing I would advise you to do if you are doing that is take photos of yourself rather than just rely on looking at yourself in the mirror, because I don't want to say the word because I feel like this is actually a serious thing, but the body dysmorphia thing is real, okay? And I don't mean that in terms of the clinical sense that's quite serious, but I do mean that in terms of when we look in the mirror, what we see is not what people see, is not how people see us. And so if you take a photo of yourself in these outfits, in these different cuts, in these different silhouettes, it's actually a lot more clearer, terrible English, in order to analyze that and review that and see if that does actually flatter you. Because 9 out of 10 times I can look at myself in the mirror and think, no, and I'll take a photo of it. I do this a lot when I'm fitting garments and I'm fitting toiles. I actually look at it in a mirror, yes, but I do also take so many photos so that I can have that almost disconnected step back, really analyze it and see what's working. So I'd really advise that you do that as well. Tying them all together then, in terms of designing your own clothes, so you've had a little look at various cuts and silhouettes that could flatter you, that could inspire you to design something new. You've had a little look at inspiration, whether that is books or Vogue catwalk and runway websites, flipping through a magazine, just to kind of get the inspiration going. Here on Instagram, of course, is an amazing source of inspiration as well. And you've experimented with mediums. One of the observational study exercises I would love for you to hop away and try following this live is to drape something, whether that is a textile or whether that is an existing garment, over the back of a chair. And I want you to experiment with seeing how different textiles drape and fall. And I want you to try and do an observational study on that, because a leather is going to hang very differently to a chiffon. And it's really important that we start to connect the dots on how textiles can absolutely affect our design. So if you have designed something for your wardrobe, and you want to develop that into a pattern, and then you want to develop that into a final garment, if you made that design in a range of textiles, it is going to have a completely different outcome every time. If you're going to do it in a much more structured cotton canvas or denim or anything like that, it's going to hang differently and be on the body a lot differently to something like a silk that has a gorgeous drape. And so really start to kind of pick up and absorb the world around you and notice these kind of changes in textiles that can have an effect on your wardrobe. I really, really hope, in terms of getting started designing for yourself, that you have found some useful tips in this live. If there are any questions at all, don't hesitate to tag me at Digital Pattern Library on Instagram, or pop me an email, hello@digitalpatternlibrary.com. But this really is the tip of the iceberg. Again, in the DPL Atelier, our fashion membership that helps you create, cut and construct your dream wardrobe, we go into this and a whole lot more. I teach you the entire fashion process. 3-month cycles. We pick a specific garment style. At the moment, my members and I are working on a sundress, ready for the warmer months. But come July, May, June, July, August. Wait, where are we? April, May, June. Come July. That was that was a lot of brain power. Come July, we are actually going to be turning our attentions to a pair of trousers. Month 1, which is create, we design it. We all design our very own pair of trousers. Whatever design details that has for you, you can make it whatever you wish and you can add it to your wardrobe. Month 2 is cut. We pattern draft without the overwhelm. There are a multitude of methods on how to pattern draft your own clothing as well, whether that is draping, whether that is a variety of flat pattern drafting techniques that I am here to teach you. And then month 3 is construct, and we bring them to life at the sewing machine. So if you are interested in the entire fashion process, if you do want to elaborate your skills and go a little bit beyond sewing, then the DPL Atelier, I literally would love to welcome you to it, because our creative community, we meet up once a month. We have a virtual Zoom call where we all make a dent in our creative to-do piles, and we just keep each other accountable, and we actually carve out the time. I made the creative co-working sessions in a really selfish approach because I was struggling with finding some selfish sewing time. Everything I do is a fashion focused business. It's for my clients. And I was like, I need to be making and building my dream wardrobe. And so for 90 minutes on the last Saturday of every month, my creative community and I come together. We have a chin wag. They see me in my studio and we all just sew and we all have such a lovely time together and really stay accountable, because it's finding those pockets of time that can really help us protect our interests, invest in ourselves, especially now more than ever. It's really important to have that self-care and have that moment, and that's exactly what this provides. There are so many more features, but I'm not going to chew your ear off with it today. I'm just going to leave it there. I'm going to have you go and explore and dabble and dip your toe into getting started with fashion design and designing for your very own wardrobe. Be brave with it. The only way we are going to figure out what suits us, and also it goes beyond what suits us, because it's what you bloody want to wear, and what you want to wear is essentially something that makes you feel confident. And you know, in order to do that and achieve that, you want to be out there exploring options. You don't want to stay in your comfort zone. I promise you, clothing should be fun. This should all be a massive version of playtime, experimentative. My brain goes way too fast and my mouth can speak, and it picks long words sometimes that I really struggle with. But above all, this should be fun. Building your dream wardrobe should be fun, and I know it can also be quite a vulnerable process when, as creatives, we put our heart on our sleeve. And maybe you're sewing something and it doesn't work out. Maybe you tried a different colour and you just didn't think it flattered you as much. But it is all an experimentative process. It's all just a journey that you're on, your creative journey, and I am here to cheer you on every step of the way, because I want you to wear clothes that are designed by you, made by you, and worn by you. This is literally my mission in life. So next week, my friends, same time, same place here on Instagram, I'm going to be giving you tips on how to get started with drafting your own patterns. So again, avoid the overwhelm, come and join me, ask any questions, and I cannot wait to catch up with you then. Have a lovely rest of your Tuesday, and I will catch you on the flip side.